Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. And starting here on the daily chart, we're gonna see, of course, the scenarios between bullish and a bearish scenario, and of course all the possibilities that it might unfold in the next days, and what we saw yesterday and what is the closest possibility from it. Now, looking on the daily, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are currently in the wave 5 impulsive wave toward the upside, where as a bullish run or as a bull run and bullish scenario, you would like to see much more higher prices. That because we are in triple 1-2s here as 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we have wave 3, 4, 5 for the white scenario, where we have completed a wave 3 in the orange scenario, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4. We have finished the wave 4 in the orange scenario, and we would like to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, which is a possibility that it can happen, of course, with the scenario of yesterday. However, we're gonna see what is the additional stuff that we need to complete the scenario in the 1 hour chart. So the only bullish scenario I would say is that we have a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5 towards the upside. Continuation, of course, for a wave 5 in the orange scenario, and continue, of course, a yellow scenario here for a wave 3. Now, in your bearish scenario where you have finished this bull run, you have finished a wave 5, you have a longer wave 4 here, finished of course after the wave 4 in the previous scenario where it has finished here. So in this scenario, we have finished a W, X, and a Y. In the W, you have a zigzag. In the X, you have regular flat and a triangle for your wave Y here. And you have finished, of course, with it a wave 4. Now, starting from that point where your wave E has finished and your wave Y, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 leading diagonal as a wave 1, and then wave 2, then 3, 4, and a 5 finished on a very high amount of volume for both wave 3 and wave 5, where your wave 5 took a lower amount of volume than your wave 3, which is, of course, perfect for an impulse or finished impulse. Now, after this, the scenarios comes as the following. We have 3 bearish scenario. The first one is that, of course, you have finished here at the top, and you are already in a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5, where we can see, of course, a finished 1, 2 formation for an impulse. Yeah. And then you have a second possibility, which is a zigzag ABC. But in this case scenario, that means, of course, you might still be corrective and maybe deep correction, and then moving still toward the upside. Now, the scenario where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it might be the scenario where you want to close this CME gap, which we have, of course, on the CME chart, of course, for Bitcoin, which is between 77,000 and 80,000. You can see, of course, a huge gap open still here and need to be filled soon or later. Now, the final bearish scenario here is a finished bull run. Well, okay, this one, sorry, it was even old. It has, we were looking for a diagonal, if you remember, and to be finished as a wave 1. In that case scenario, this is out. We have only 2 bearish scenario, less is more, perfect. And then, so we are looking whether for a zigzag or for 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And then, of course, if we are impulsive here with this scenario, that means, of course, we are much more bearish toward the downside. Now, moving to the 1 hour chart to see what can happen, what it can happen today. And as you can see, yesterday, our last video was about, of course, the finished scenario or the finished impulse toward the downside, where we have, of course, here finished a wave 5. If you remember, yesterday I made the last video for Bitcoin, it was here, and we said we're gonna have 4, 5, and this has been perfectly, of course, unfolded here. So basically, we have done with this impulse. Now, what are the scenarios? Okay. So in a bullish scenario, if you remember, we have here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which it might play as a wave 1, right? And then here probably finished ABC or WXY, and then you have 1, 2, then continuation toward the upside. Now, in case you are in a 1, 2 here, guys, if you are in a 1, 2, you would like to have, of course, first the fib levels for a wave 2 in an impulse, right? We have reached it exactly already with only one impulse toward the downside. As you can see, we have reached the 0.618 already with one wave toward the downside, which is an impulse, and which is your wave A. Now, if we have a wave A here and we're looking for B, your wave C should be exactly the same amount, of course, taken from this one to here. And in that case, of course, you're gonna reach somehow, maybe even lower, maybe you're gonna touch the 886, and we'll transform this to something different, of course, because, yeah, very rare scenario that a wave 2 moves for a wave 3 from the 886 fib level, and that might bring us, of course, maybe to an ending diagonal, probably. Yeah, so these are the possibility, the only possibility, of course, where we can have a bullish scenario. So you still need a zigzag for a wave 2. If you are in a wave 2, 1, 2, your wave 2 should be 3 waves, A, B, and a C. Your wave A here is impulsive. That means, of course, it should be a zigzag. And that means, yeah, it's gonna be a deep zigzag, and it's gonna already break the 886 probably, and even, yeah, we're gonna take the low. So very, very low possibility for bullish scenario. Right? Now, for the bearish scenario, guys, what we can have after this. So if, as we said, one of the scenarios that we are in bearish here, where we have top for our bull run here, and then we have 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5, right? You want to reach the 1.618 for a wave 3 at 79,200 in case we are very bearish. In case we are short-term bearish and we are in a correction, as A, B, and a C, we are looking forward for a 1-to-1 fib level at 87,000, which is in confluence, of course, with this technical support. And this will still open, of course, the scenario for the bull run, again, to move toward the upside. If we take a look on KGT on the 5-minute chart, we can see we have still this signal, of course, the sell signal, but there is no divergence with, of course, the bullish signals and the price action, meaning that if we go higher, this might be just corrective and will not take the high, of course, so it might, of course, continue towards the downside. That was it for Bitcoin. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comment. If you're interested in KGT, all the details you can find in the description below. Thank you, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.